Hello students. So this is the solution to your mock test. Okay, so let's see how well you have done. Right, so the first question, they want us to tick the most appropriate box, and we're supposed to actually look at these devices and figure out whether they are input only, output only, or both input and output, or neither. Right, so the barcode scanner actually just reads the information from the barcode, so it is an input device. Right, next one, a gamepad with a tactile vibration. So a gamepad, there's buttons, there's a joystick there, you can move them around, so you can actually it's an input device. However, because of the vibration, the feedback that we get, it is also an output device, so it is both input and output. Next one, classroom projector only output from the device onto the screen, right, the information, so it's an output. So that's fine. I hope you are successful here. Now the second question, they want us to convert the following amount of data into the units indicated below. So we have 10 terabytes, right? So how do we get them into megabytes? Well, we actually need to multiply by 1,000 and then multiply by 1,000 again, right? So you do that, you should get 10 million, right? So there we go, 10 million megabytes is 10 terabytes. Next, we have some bytes here, quite a big number there, and we want to get it into MIB, right? So how do we actually do that? Well, first we need to actually divide it by 1,000, and then we also divide by 1024, okay, which gives us 1, okay? And then after that, next one, we have a KIB to KB. How do we do that? We just need to multiply, okay, by 1024, and then we also need to divide it by 1,000, okay, so that will give us 1024, okay. Right, next, fill in the blanks with the most appropriate word or phrase to complete the following statement. Do not use any abbreviation. So the central processing unit, the CPU, comprises of two parts. So what are the two parts? Well, the first part that actually does the instruction, that's called the control unit, right? That's called the control unit. And what it does is that it executes, right? It executes the instructions and decide when the data should be stored, received, transmitted by different parts of the computer. Now, the other part of the CPU is actually the arithmetic logic units, right? That's where all the calculations takes place. Okay, and it processes the data by performing basic mathematical calculations and transforming data. Both part makes use of the processor register, right? So that's where the data are stored inside. Okay, these are small and extremely fast data storage spaces, but they're also volatile, right? Because they can be changed and overwritten quite easily. Okay, as data in them is lost once the power supply is actually cut off, right? Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, so the next one. Now buses, right? So buses are collections of wires for transporting data from one part of the computer to another. Two important buses that we are actually focusing on is the data bus and the address bus, right? So they want us to state the function of the data bus. So what exactly does, address bus, what does address bus means, right? So as the word address informs us, address means location, right? When we ask what's your address, means it's the location where you stay. Therefore, right, the address bus actually specify, okay, the location, right? So it the location where? The location within the memory. So it specifies the memory location. Okay, so that's what the address bus does, right? So after that, they ask us to state the difference between the data bus and the address bus. So first of all, the data buses, right, transport, okay, any data type, right? Any data type. So data buses, they transport all kinds, right? Data types. Whereas the address buses, okay, only transport the location, right? Memory location. We already got that now. memory location. What's another difference? Well, the data buses, they are bidirectional, right? So they bring data to and fro. So data bus is bidirectional. Okay, so it brings the information to and fro. Whereas the address buses, okay, the address bus is let's write it properly, is unidirectional. So it only goes in one direction, right? So it goes, get the location. Once you have the location, you go to memory, you retrieve the information, you don't need the address bus anymore. So it just goes one way, right? So that's some of the difference that you can write. Okay, next question. Newer laptops tend to use solid-state media instead of magnetic media, right? So as a secondary storage, MacBook Pro is one example. Suggest 2 reasons why you can choose, why you should choose a solid-state storage. So basically, they're asking for the advantage, right? So what are some advantages? Well, solid-state, where I can say that the solid-state storage media is faster, right? It's faster. Generally, it's faster. Okay, so that's one reason. You can also say that the solid-state storage media uses less power, right? So that's some of the main advantages. Other advantages that you can write is that it makes less noise, because some magnetic media can be quite noisy if they're not put together properly. And yeah, and of course any other advantages that's reasonable, you can just state them down, but these are the 2 most common ones that I believe most of you will have written, right? How about the disadvantage? Well, disadvantages, solid state storage media is more expensive. It's more costly to manufacture, right? That is true as of now. We are not too sure what will happen in the future, but right now they are actually definitely more expensive than the magnetic storage. Okay, moving on. Next one. So here we have a scenario. An alarm sounds when certain conditions occur in a large sea aquarium, right? So there are 3 input parameters. So there's the amount of oxygen in the aquarium. There's whether is it the day or the night, as well as the temperature, whether the temperature is above or below 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, so each parameter has a binary, the switch, right, to display whether the conditions is 1 or 0. So the table actually summarizes the system for us. So what happened, right? What happened is that the system is designed, right, such that the output will have a value of 1 and the alarm will activate when. What are the conditions? So it says here it activates when either it is day and the temperature is more than 25 degrees Celsius, or it is night and the amount of oxygen is 2 liters. So let's work out the first one first, right? So we have this scenario, day and temperature more than 25. So that means over here, my day, right? Okay, I come down here, and then the temperature more than 25. So this and this condition, right? So this is a part that's highlighted in green. Okay, maybe let me try to draw it nicer. I tried, right? Okay, so this is the first condition highlighted in green. The next condition, let me highlight it in blue, is night and oxygen is 2 liters. So if the input D represents day, then night will definitely be the NOT of it, right? So what happened is I go up here, I have a NOT gate, right? So this NOT gate, this will give me the night. And then after that, oxygen 2 liters will be the A, right? So amount of oxygen 2 liters, it will be another NOT A. So I go in, NOT A. Okay, so these two also I will AND it together, right? So this is a condition in blue. So now these 2 outputs here, I want to OR them, right? So OR them together, I have an OR gate. And this OR gate goes out to X. So this one will goes into the OR gate. This one will go into the OR gate. And that's how your circuit will probably look like. Okay. Now moving on. Next one. The truth table, right? So how the truth table look like? Now, down here, of course, the question says write the logic statement at the bottom. But actually, if you have the logic statement first, it helps with the truth table. I mean, personally, that works for me, and I believe it works for many of you too, right? So if we look at our diagram, what happened is down here, we want a situation where we either want to have not A and not D, right? So this is the condition earlier up here in blue, right? And then in green, we want the situation where it is D and T, right? So this is all. So this is actually the situation, the logic statement. So what we can do is to work out the truth table. We will work out them independently. We have not A and not D over here, right? And on this side, we have D and T, okay? So over here, we just look at the A and D, not A, not D. So we fill it up. This will be 1, right? So, and then after that, 0 for the rest, okay? And for the D and T, we look at the columns on D and T. This is the one, right? It's over here. Okay, this is the situation that 1. So this is 1. Okay, the other one is over here, right? So this is 1. The rest will be 0. Okay, so finally the output X will be either or. So or here. So I will get 1s here. This is 0. This is 1. 0, 0, 0, 1. There we go. That's our truth table, right? Okay, moving on. Next one, we have this scenario here. Student in your class can sign up for football or basketball, right? By writing their register number on a separate sign-up sheet. You have been asked to find out which students in your class did not sign up for football and also did not sign up for basketball. So what we can do is we need to figure out what are the inputs, right? So since it's a student in the class signing up, so we need their register number. So the first inputs we need will probably be the class list, right? This is the class list, and of course this class list should not be empty, right? Must not be empty. If the class list is empty, then this whole system will fail, right? And it consists of positive integers, right? So this is probably what's on the register, because we are looking at register number here, not names, not other fields, right? Just the register number. So that's what we have, right? Then after that, we need to have a football list for people who sign up for football. So the football list, right? This one can be empty, right? Can be empty because there could be 0 people who actually sign up for football. It is possible, right? So it can be empty, right? What else, right? Each register number here, should be in the class list, right? So if you write a register number that's not in the class list, it will not be valid, okay? And then of course we also need to have the basketball list. Now the basketball list, left out the word ball, basketball list, it has the same conditions for the football list, right? It can be empty. Let me spell it properly. Empty. And each register number here, okay, should be in the class list, right? So because we are only looking at people from this class. So that's the conditions and the requirements that you can put down. So finally, they ask for the outputs and what are the requirements. Well, what gets output, right? What you want is actually a list of register number, numbers in the class list. Okay, so it must be part of the class, but not in football list and also not in basketball list. So that's the output that we will eventually want to get. Right, so that is the suggested solutions for this particular mock paper. I hope you have been successful, but continue to be more thorough in your revision and hope you do well for your upcoming assessment. Good luck.